we're all working on trying to have the best life ever. Yet sometimes when we are parenting these new kids, the crystal kids, the indigo kids, we're not having that much fun. A lot of them are coming in with some real interesting ways of bucking the system, changing forms and structures, right? They're coming in as ADD, ADHD, bipolar, autistic, on the spectrum. These are all things that we view as a problem and as a disorder. Yet, what if they're coming in as the perfect energy to really change things up here on the planet? Yay, they're part of the evolutionary process, but how do we parent them? How do we teach them? How do we be in children's lives who are the forerunners and the volunteers on this planet to make a conscious difference? That's what we're talking about today. Hey, this is Rebecca, and we're talking about remembering our greatness today, diving deep so we can rise high. I'm a mom of 2 teenage boys that have been not too easy to parent for me. So I have a video about ADHD and how their kids with ADHD are kind of evolutionary brains. But how do we parent someone that is evolutionary? I also said in that video that there are some great minds that have been forerunners of kind of bringing light and consciousness to the planet, like Stephen Hawkins, Albert Einstein, a slew of these famous, very talented actors and musicians and athletes. But how do we parent them? So the thing is that these new kids, the crystal kids and the indigo kids, are demanding that we do is treat them as a unique individual rather than a formula, rather than something to fix. Okay, so the number one principle with working with these kids, in my opinion, which take it or leave it, but in my opinion, is to know that nothing's wrong with them. What if nothing is wrong with them? All right, they may be abnormal, meaning they're not on the bell curve, meaning that they are not functioning the way the regular conscious collective is. But so what? A lot of us that are into the awakening and ascension work and the Great Awakening are functioning from the collective consciousness 3D kind of way anyway. So what these crystal and indigo kids are really asking of us, I think rainbow kids are in there too, asking of us is that we treat them not as a herd, but as a unique individual. So that's number one. And number two is, there's no formula with these kids, but there is a question you can ask them. What's possible here? How does it get better than this? Working with these kids in this open-ended way and asking them questions rather than telling them how it is. A lot of these kids are very old souls. Chronologically, they might be, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, but really, they're like 1,000 years old, 1,000,000 years old. These souls are old souls. Okay, so if you are parenting a crystal kid, a rainbow kid, a indigo kid, that just means when they came in. So I think crystal, I don't have it all situated, but like it's just, I think indigo was the first one, crystal, and then rainbow. I could have rainbow and crystal mixed up, but they get the names just because of the frequency they're holding at the time that they're coming in. Indigos were the first. And there's forerunners. So usually there's a huge wave of them, but before the huge wave, there's little like scouts, if you will. And so Albert Einstein probably was one of those that scouts out for the indigo and stuff like that. So We need to give them a lot of room to be individuals and to be their unique selves. They have a slew of really positive attributes, but they need to work those attributes out in a space that's willing to allow them to. So a lot of times conventional education and conventional ways of parenting don't really work. Now, take it from me, I have two of them, and I tried to read every parenting book on the planet. I've tried behavior modification, I've tried everything, and it works like this much, and then it all falls apart. And I have a lot of friends or teachers, have you tried this? Have you tried this? And so, me being one of them too, I think I'm an indigo. So it's just like an indigo is trying to parent a crystal and rainbow kid. So it's like, it's hard. So it's been challenging finding support for myself. But I would say number three. So number one, that what if there's nothing wrong with them? Number two, really ask them questions rather than telling them how it is. By asking questions, you're going to pique their awareness and consciousness, and they will just roll with it once they feel like they are trusted and they're allowed. But number three is they are urging you to rise up in your consciousness. So take care of yourself. I always laugh that, my kids are my gurus. I had I've been a wellness practitioner and a seeker and a student of law of attraction and all this stuff for years before I had kids. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring new kids in and teach them the way. Oh my God, I was so ignorant. Honestly, guys, they are coming in to activate us, to help us let go of triggers and karma and help us raise our vibration. So if you have kids in your life and they are crystal kids, rainbow kids, indigo kids, they have a high frequency and they're coming here and they have a mission to really give it to you. They are trying to get you out of the forms and structures that are limiting you and holding you back from your greatness, okay? So they are going to trigger the wazoo out of you, okay? It's going to be an emotional ride. It's going to be a mental, clusterfuck, basically. So stay the course with where you feel guided to support yourself. Get very sovereign with your connection to your higher self. Source energy. Go right to the source, okay? And clear your house. Just put high vibrations in your house. Make sure your house is a high vibration for these kids to really thrive in. They're going to buck the system. So there could be fighting. There could be low density stuff that happens in your house with parenting these kids. It's okay. Make sure you rise the vibration back up. Make sure you make amends and forgive each other. Make sure there's a lot of apologizing. All that kind of 3D stuff doesn't really matter if you raise the vibration around it. There's forgiveness, there's perspective around it. So these kids are not easy. And if you can see that older generations, what they're saying about these younger generations, they think they know it all. They're so not polite. They're so this or that. Guys, they're here to buck the system. They do not care about respecting older generations. A lot of them don't, because they are older. That's just not a mindset of theirs. You must earn their respect. Even if you are 90 years old, you must earn their respect. And earning their respect means that you are an allowance of them, that you trust their awareness, that you really get on board with seeing them as the greatness that they are. And they are helping you remember your greatness. So there's not a lot of tangible stuff with this. Some kids will go the pharmaceutical route. Some will do supplements. I know my kid is on high dose of fish oil. He's on CBD, focus support, and he's on acidophilus. Gut support really helps the serotonin and dopamine stuff. So a lot of these kids are coming in with brain chemistry kind of all wonky. It's part of the brilliance of them. So you can support some different brain functioning, or just allow them to be. Go buy a plot of land, homeschool them, and ask them lots of questions around what's next. Ask them, trust them, allow them to be. And it's tough because as parents, a lot of us are hooked into the 3D model of working and public education, and just a lot of forms and structures and a lot of fear paradigms. And a lot of things have to be structured and have to have a certain look to them, right? Well, these kids are coming into our lives to show us that there's a different way. And they're showing us how to raise our vibration, and they're showing us what we need to really unhook from the matrix. So, any questions here? Are you an indigo, rainbow, or a crystal kid? Are you parenting one of them? Are you teaching one of them? Are you a grandparent or aunt or uncle to one of them? Are you a friend of one of them? So, a lot of times these kids also will be friends with people way older than them, and they just kind of relate. I know my son has a really great relationship. My teen son has a great relationship with his boss, who's in her 60s, and they just kind of relate. And so age is not really a factor with these kids if they connect with someone. So really, what they're urging us to do is to think outside the box, get outside of the box, stop thinking, and start becoming more aware and following our awareness with these kids, letting them be their unique selves and trusting their awareness. Give them that respect, and they will respect you. When it comes to kind of like, how do I get them up in the morning? How do I get them to school? Those things are challenging. Again, use this protocol, ask them questions, trust them. And also they may need, in the younger years, a little bit of, hey, we tried it your way. It's not working for me because mom has to do this, this, and this. So we're going to try it my way for a few nights. Go to bed at 9 o'clock. And then, nothing, I think another piece is that nothing is set in stone. Okay. That when we make a choice, I've always told my kids this, we're going to try this. Mom, nothing's set in stone, but for right now, in this present moment, we're doing it this way. And I always welcome that they can come to me and talk to me about what's not working and they want to try it a different way, and we can always discuss things. So let them come to the round table as an equal part. And I know that bothers a lot of adults, like they're not, they shouldn't have the same equality as me. I'm an adult, I pay the bills, I do this. Well, that attitude doesn't really work too much with them, and they will resist that, and it will be painful. And pain bodies will be flying, egos will be flying, triggers and karma flying all over the place. So bring them to the round table and talk to them as if they were an equal, like that their point of view matters. And just know that you could say, well, we'll try that. And if it doesn't work for everyone involved, then we're going to have to try this way for a little while. And just really reiterate, I value your perspective. I value your awareness. I trust it. And I also trust and value mine. And we have to work with this, as a team. I thought if I had these skills and I was doing this with my kids, that it would be all rainbows. Family life would be great. And if I'm really candid and honest and vulnerable with you guys, raising these two kids has been really challenging. We've had lots of fights in this house. I've been exhausted. Yet we've always kept the heart connection, and it's always come back to really unconditional loving them. So parenting rainbow, crystal, and indigo kids is not going to be a walk in the park, is not going to look like the white picket fence and the family picture, okay? It's going to look whatever it's going to look like, whatever they came here to show you and help you unwrap. And it's going to bring some resistance, and it's going to bring something to butt up against. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It might mean you're doing something really right. You know, my teen just transitioned out of our house, and I had all these judgments on myself. And then I was like, oh my God, okay, well, he's 17, turning like going on 25. And really, you know, he's a soul who's like a million years old. So, you know, he he can't be in the role of son anymore. He's like, I can't remember myself in this role anymore. So guys, we're not going to be able to follow the forms and structures of all the rules of 3D society when it comes to these kids. They might need boarding school, they might need to leave the nest early, they might need very different ways of living and family life. So, you know, be open-minded and do not be attached to anything. Because one week it works this way and another week it works this way. Behavior modification for my kids really worked great for 7 days. And then they were like, they just got too aware. They were just like, this is a fucking manipulation game. I'm not doing it. And so they just become really, these new kids become really aware of parental manipulations, and they see right through it. And so throw the books out, work on yourself, respect them as a equal part of your family, trust their awareness, let them be their unique selves. And yes, some of these kids need, like, you know, outside support, right? They need a support team, they need an IEP, they might need medication, they might need supplements, but still incorporate all these things that I'm saying. And the biggest thing is keep your cup full and keep your energetic spiritual practice, consciousness practice going every single day. You know, meditate, connect with source, fill yourself up creatively, because you will need to be all of you to work with these kids. They're demanding it of us. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know any questions you might have. I have a lot of experience because I have 2 teens that are like this, and I also have taught kids at alternative schools, which pretty much I had like 10 to 20 kids in a classroom trying to teach them music who were all Crystal and Indigo kids and couldn't fit into the box of public school. So I have a lot of just personal experience. I'm not like a professional educator. I'm not a psychologist in any way. I'm just a wellness practitioner who has a lot of experience around being with kids who are very high vibing and who came here to change the planet and require us to do things in a different way. And I've learned a lot through a lot of heartache, but I have learned a lot. So please use me. Use this avenue of support. And if you would like to talk to me personally, I can set that up as well. I do 30-minute discovery calls, and I also have 6-week programs to start shifting into remembering your greatness and really supporting yourself so that you can be your best self for these kids in your life. So if you want to learn about that 6-week program, just put that in the comments as well, that you're interested. All right, beautiful people, you hang in there. It's an exciting time. Be grateful for these kids in your life because they are basically source sent to help us with our awakening and ascension path. So thank you so much. Namaste.